Voices to Hear.
Hi, welcome to Voices to Hear. I'm Ania and I'm here with Irma, Stefan and Tanja, who are a part of Pagoda, an organization promoting East Asian cultures in Macedonia. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Do you think there were any specific moments, people, experiences that started your interest in Asian culture? Because, for example, I feel like I'm this classic example of the person who discovered anime on like some random day in middle school, and then my fascination with Japanese culture kind of went from there. So I'm curious how it started for you.
So first of all, my first encounter with East Asian culture was almost 30 years ago. So a long time ago, because when I was like 4, maybe 5 years old, my uncle went to Taiwan. So he was there for, I think, 6 months. And you can imagine he brought a lot of souvenirs back home, like chopsticks, charms, coins, and other stuff. And also an interesting thing, he brought CD player for movies. So back then we have a VHS cassette players, and this was the first CD player and a lot of movies in Mandarin. Imagine me like watching a movie in Mandarin, I'm like 4 years old. And after that, around the same period, the Macedonian national television started airing anime, but it wasn't labeled as Japanese cartoons. We didn't know what it is, and the things I remember from back then was the Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs, synchronized in Macedonian, and Miss Pepperpot, also synchronized in Macedonian. So I guess Tanja and Irma remember those two. But a few years later, when Digimon aired in another television, then we knew it was Japanese. So that was the first thing when you know, okay, this is a Japanese cartoon anime, and so go on, like Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball, and so on, so on and so on.
For me, it's simple also the beginning of watching anime, especially for the Japanese, of course, culture. Sailor Moon and Naruto played a very big role into me getting interested in Japanese history more on that side and the Japanese culture in the modern world today. Then I started learning Japanese actually. But a few years later, I started watching Korean dramas. Then that's where the interest into Korean language came and Korean culture. And after that, for China, especially, it was from my first travel. Actually, I went there, I saw China, and that's when the interest into these cultures began as a whole in all three of them. Especially the Chinese medicine class that we had there, because it was a summer camp and use of their yin and yang in everything, especially in the medicine. And after that comes like okay, it's interesting. Why don't we see what are their legends and what is their history? And this is how it all started.
Actually, the first interaction with Japanese culture for me was through my parents' art books. They had ukiyo-e prints in them. Now that's questionable first start for a child, I think, because not all of them are safe for kids to see. But I mean, as a child of an artist, you can absolutely see any type of art. So that was the first moments for me to see something that comes from Japan. And later on, my aunt went to Japan. She also brought back a lot of souvenirs from Tokyo and Kyoto and wherever she went. And later on, when I was in high school, when I was senior, that's when I started listening to J-rock. That was like the most logical transition from metal to J-rock for me. I also started watching East Asian horror movies, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and that's when I got obsessed pretty much. And the rest is history. I think that it moved on to K-dramas as well and K-pop. I mean, yes, that's, another logical transition from metal to K-pop, I guess. And for China specifically, I gotta say the person that is guilty for it, that's Tanja. Because when she came back from her trip, I was impressed by everything she told us. And of course, then social media did its thing. We saw Chongqing on social media. We went there and yes, like I said, the rest is history.
Okay, that's very interesting to hear, like different stories, how it started. That's always fun. Okay, so you traveled to Asia. You've all been to China. Irma and Stefan, you also went to Japan. So how would you compare your experiences in China and Japan? Did you notice like any differences, or were they quite similar from the perspective of a European person, obviously?
Actually, I will just put it very simple. They're very different to me. Even as someone who doesn't know much about the history and traditions of these both countries, even if they set foot for the first time in both of them, they will be able to make a distinction between China and Japan. The architecture is pretty different. In a way, it's similar, but also very different. The way people act in everyday life is completely different. The vibe is different. China is very modern, very high tech. They also keep their traditional parts very well. They respect their tradition, they respect their history.
Both countries are very high tech developed, but I guess the Japanese people are more traditional. Chinese people also care about their tradition, but embrace the technology a little bit more than the Japanese people. That's the biggest, I think, difference for me. People in Tokyo speak more English. Not a lot, but more. The case in Beijing, I guess Tanja had the experience, people knew English, right? But in Chengdu and Chongqing, people don't know English. So we met only one or two person in 2 weeks in Chongqing who knew a little bit English. So we translate everything with the applications, with Alipay or WeChat, whichever you use, right? And the translation was smooth, it was true, right? And we didn't have problems at all communicating with the Chinese people.
So was there anything that was like surprisingly familiar for you? Like you're at home, even though you were so far away? On all of your travels, like either in China or Japan?
For China, the people, the mindset of the people in Chongqing is very similar to the Balkan people. And I think we can easily hang out there.
When we were exploring the neighborhoods, a lot of neighborhoods reminded us of our neighborhoods. For example, I will be very specific. Asagaya and Kwenji reminded us of Lisice and Taftalije as well. So people can actually Google them and see what I'm talking about. But even when I started posting photos, there were a few from the neighborhood where we were staying, and some people saw it and they were like, isn't this like Lisice? Isn't this Skopje? So that's architecture-wise, it was kind of similar, but also I remember in Chongqing, I saw a few blocks buildings that really reminded me of Skopje. I'm not able to say which exactly, but I do have photos that really, we were discussing this with other friends. And they were like, oh yeah, these buildings really look like the ones we have in Skopje. That's actually, I mean, I'm talking about architecture mostly because that's what I tend to photograph a lot. And those are the similarities I noticed the most.
I must agree with Irma about the architecture in both countries. Those houses, which Irma explained, are wooden montage barracks built here in Skopje after the earthquake. And if you already know, because I know you you love East Asian culture, that Kenzo Tange built most of the Skopje, right, after the earthquake. They are made from wood, and also the traditional houses in Tokyo and other cities, for example, like Kyoto, are built from wood, right? And maybe that's the similarities and the shapes. And for the buildings in Chongqing, because Macedonia was part of the Soviet countries after the Second World War, I think there's a lot of similarities with all of the socialist countries after the war, because brutalism is present in all of them, and even we are very far away from China, we had similar architecture built in the 50s, in the 60s and 70s.
Between us and Macedonia and China, I would say especially Chongqing. The moment we went there, we right away said, this feels like home. It felt warm, it felt, I don't know, it felt like you are supposed to be here with these people on the right place, in the right time maybe, and it felt very much like home. Also, yeah, people smoke a lot, like here, like cigarettes are everywhere. This is what is
Even
very
inside.
similar. So yeah, they smoke everywhere, like you can buy cigarettes everywhere also most of the time. And between the people, there is not a lot of difference if we put our cultures away. And if we sit on a table, Macedonians want to eat, to drink, and to smoke cigarettes. They do the same things.
I think that food is also a huge part of any culture, so I have to ask about it. And obviously Asian food is very different from Macedonian one. So is there anything you tried during your travel that you wish you had here in Macedonia?
I will be very quick in this one because I've made a list.
Prepared?
I'm prepared. There's one thing that I wish Macedonia has, and that's onigiri from Japan. I mean, onigiri, come on. It's the best thing ever. It's so easy to make at home, but I just want to be able to go in a shop and buy it, and it's so simple to make. I want it and I need it every day. For the Chinese, food is much longer. You won't believe it, but durian is very on top of my list. It smells bad,
Surprise.
but it's the most delicious thing I've tried, and I feel so bad that we waited an entire trip to try it. We tried it the last day, and I feel so terrible for it. I also miss the Chinese noodles, the cold vinegar ones. No one makes them here. I also wish we had a place that makes real Sichuan Kung Pao chicken. There's one place that claims to make one, but it's not hot. We tried it. It's not it. I miss baozi. I missed hot pot. I miss bingfen. That's the dessert we were buying.
The dessert, yeah.
Yeah, with the rice cakes.
The rice cakes. Yeah.
That's my list.
So yeah, for me it was durian also.
That's very unpopular.
It smells bad. Yeah, it smells bad. Not so bad when you open the fruit, but once you ate it, once you finish with it, it feels like your soul will sting after that. So I'm so sorry to say that. But it is tasty. It's surprisingly tasty. And we were like, why didn't we buy like durian earlier? It's a bit expensive even there. It's not like you can buy it very often probably, but it's because it's a huge fruit. And dragon fruit, I would love if we could buy it everywhere here, because it's quite tasty actually, depending on whether we will try the red one or the yellow one. Also very healthy. And noodles, Chinese noodles are kind of different from what we buy here. So they make the taste, I don't know how to put it. It's awesome, like, because they probably mixed it differently. Not like us, we buy instant noodles, then we put them and everything together and we wait 5 minutes for it to be finished. But they put the sauce after they put the noodles, you know, and then a bit of meat, most of the time they're hot, like, of course, they're spicy. And yeah, that's most of the food. Dumplings, baozi, every type of what they have. I would all take them here if I could. Hot pot.
Hot pot, definitely. So I love spicy food. I love extremely hot food. So you can imagine that Chongqing was dreamland for me, because everything is hot and hotter. So the basic taste of all of the food is hot. If you go there, be prepared. Also in Chengdu, because the Sichuan region is famous for the Sichuan peppers, right? And I would like to add something about the durian. It was a very pleasant experience. People usually say it's the first bite, which is the bad one, right? Mm-hmm. That it smells. And as you continue eating it, you're getting the right taste, right? But for me, it wasn't. So for me, the fruit didn't smell at all. Like, I don't know why. We were 4 of us in China, and Tanja, Irma, and our friend Elena, they were like, okay, this stinks. And I was like, I don't smell it. And when I tried it, it was like a creamy pineapple mixed with avocado and coconut. Can you imagine the flavor?
Add cabbage to it, please.
Add cabbage to it.
And now I don't see the fish.
You can, yeah, you must try it.
I was following before, but
The first 3 ingredients was okay. We're okay.
You almost convinced me.
And for the hot pot, I mean, after 20 hours of flight, the first thing we ate in Chongqing was hot pot, and imagine us with dry lips from the plane and eating the first level of hot pot. So it's not the second, not the third, the first one, and it was extremely hot, but we managed it. Me and Tanya ate the most of it. Irma and Elena, they gave up. But the trick is you need to drink beer with it. The Chongqing beer was extremely good. Different types of beer they had. The Chongqing beer was extremely nice. So it goes well with the spicy food. Also the cold noodles, the Kung Pao chicken, the bugs. I tried bugs. I had 2 things which are usually disgusting to people on my bucket list to try in China. The first thing was bugs, and the second one was fried alligator skin. So I didn't try that.
Okay.
I didn't find it. I would try it. Maybe now in Chengdu this year. And the bugs were very pleasant. Like, they're deep fried. I tried scorpions and silk bug cocoons. The scorpions were extremely nice, like chips. If you tried, because you live in Skopje, if you tried chipsy chili chips, it's the same flavor. Like you're snacking at chips, drinking beer. Just don't look at it because it has legs, right? And
Yeah.
exactly. But that was not a problem for me. Tanya almost tried them. Like she was holding her hand right in front of the bag, and we were all cheering like, Tanya, take it. And she gave up. Elena tried one leg, and that was it. So I ate all the scorpions and the silkback cocoons. The experience was very pleasant. They are deep fried. They are crispy, right? They are not squishy or slimy, as usually you will imagine. They are very crispy. So yeah, like a chips.
It's time, Stefan, to open Bugs restaurant, deep fried bugs.
Yes. I mean, I would add that because we all love Asian culture, we ate Asian cuisine all of the time here in Macedonia. We have a few restaurants. Not as much as we like to have, but we have enough. A Chinese, a Japanese, Thai restaurants, but it's totally different.
Let's get a bit more personal now. Irma, as a writer and photographer, how did your travels influence the way you see or capture the world? Like, were there any moments in Asia that felt like they were made to be photographed, or like anything that caught your eye in this sense?
As a matter of fact, traveling changed the way I take photos. Maybe the way I see the world through that as well, but mostly how I see photography. I have people asking me, why do you post so many photos? It seems like a photo dump. Like, why don't you make a selection? Little do they know I do make a selection like weeks prior to that. And I do a lot of research alongside. But the way traveling made me think about photography is that I want to capture everything that I see, regardless of whether I'm visiting some Asian country or Paris or Ohrid or I don't know, Belgrade, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Every place to me is unique and it's different and tells a story. Every person that I see on the street might be an interesting subject to photograph. I use them as a way to tell a story. Yes, I am a writer, so I do use that knowledge that I have to write and educate, and I don't obsess anymore over finding a label for my photography. Well, when I was younger, I thought that I should be either architecture photograph or whether I should only take portrait photographs. I just stay away from labels at this point, so I take photos of everything that I find interesting, anything that I think that I can tell a story through it. For example, parks and gardens in Japan, the street fashion, the tiny stores packed with products, LED lights on the streets, everything was so fun and different and unique. And China as well, like there was something special about the people on the streets and the old people selling fruit on the streets. I think that everything that I saw is a story on its own, and it deserves to be told and seen.
I mean, I saw your Instagram and the photos are amazing. So...
Thank you so much.
And there are a lot of them, so I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they deserve to be there.
Thank you.
So let's move to you, Tanja. Did you get any chance to experience any live music, concerts, maybe karaoke night during your trips?
Karaoke night, not really, I wouldn't say that. We went on a place where it was supposed to be a karaoke night on my first visit to Chengdu, but we were supposed to sing karaoke, but we didn't. But live concert, probably street performers. There are quite a few street performers in China. You can see them everywhere. If theater counts, I had the opportunity to see the Sichuan opera, and I love it. And if anyone will ever go to China, they have to see it.
You're one of the co-founders of Bits of Asia. So can you tell more about the idea behind the platform?
Bits of Asia started as a Facebook page. The beginnings of Bits of Asia are actually with J-Rock. Until we started bombing Bits of Asia with K-pop. Today, Bits of Asia is mostly we make K-pop parties.
Yes, 14 years of K-pop. And we've noticed that there is interest for it.
Okay, so Stefan, you shared with me that you created the hobby club or Gundam crew. Did you visit any iconic places related to Gunpla models, like the Gundam base in Tokyo, or any specialty hobby shops?
Me and Viktor Glavinovsky founded Oreva Gundam crew, which is a model kit building crew. And we usually build Gunpla kits, but sometimes we are not sticking only to Bandai model kits. Otobuki also, and so other. And in 2018, when we visited Tokyo, because I'm otaku culture lover, So we visited Odaiba, especially Diver City, in front of which you can see the real life-size Unicorn Gundam. But few years before we went to Japan, it was a different model. So it was the first Gundam, the RX-78-2, but they changed it in 2015 or 16, I guess, to the Unicorn Gundam. They are making them more posable. They move actually, because the Unicorn Gundam we visited in Odaiba only opens the funnels, the thrusters, so you can see the inner frame, it's glowing. It changes, it transforms its face from the unicorn mode to destroy mode, but that's about it. So the pose is fixed. And if we compare it to the Yokohama Gundam base statue, it is fully movable, so it can kneel down, reach with the hands, move with the head, everything, all sorts of possibilities. Also, we visited the Tokyo Gundam base and we bought the Gundam kit for Victor. In 2023, we decided to make this hobby more available, more spread in Macedonia. So that's how we came up with the idea to have a club, and we formed it last year. So 2024 was the first workshop in June. So now we are June also, and it's 1 year anniversary from Oreva Gundam Crew. And we did had exhibition from the models we built last year at the Strip Trip Festival.
So let's go back to Macedonia for a bit and let's talk about Pagoda. So the organization you're all co-founders of. Can you explain what is the mission of Pagoda?
The mission of Pagoda is to promote Eastern Asian cultures in Macedonia and the other way around, also promote Macedonian culture in those Eastern Asian countries as well. We mostly focus on Japan, China, Korea, Mongolia. Hopefully, we will get to explore Mongolia much more than we do now. And we do it through different types of activities and sharing informational, educational content on social media. We also do exhibitions, gaming events, sometimes otaku-focused events.
So what was your favorite project that you've done at Pagoda? The one you were most proud of, or the one that was the most fun to organize?
Irma is suggesting to me to say all of them. Yeah, that's actually true. But if I had to pick few of them, right, I think that will be Kimono Inspiration. It was an exhibition with costumes, theater costumes, inspired by Japanese traditional wear. And they were all made by Blagoje Micevski, costumographer from Bitola, and also a director in the theater. And that exhibition was displayed in Bitola, and we decided that the audience in Skopje deserves to see it here also. So we contacted Blagoje and everything went smoothly. Exhibition was held in the Museum of City of Skopje. It was very beautiful. It lasted for 5 days. The ambassador of Japan was present and a lot of diplomats from the Japanese embassy. And also we had a tea ceremony presented by Yuko Sakaguchi, our friend and collaborator.
So for me in Pagoda, the most interesting and what I love most about the projects are the workshops. Especially I love the workshop about the masks and the shonen event where we had, according to me, we had quite a lot of good context into the event and educational also, because we were discussing on quite awesome themes. We were talking about the shonen heroes and how it can affect the people and how it can affect the young people, especially what is the meaning and the concept of hero for them. Also the Peppermint project, of course, the one with this was for the promotion of their new song at that period.
For the record, Peppermint made the first Japanese song in Macedonia. So they sang it in Macedonian and in Japanese. So it was very interesting. That's why Pagoda stepped in to promote this new song, right?
To me, all of them are meaningful and I love all of them, of course, because we pour our souls and hearts into creating these events. But I would say that Hallyu Impact is probably one of the ones that I love the most, because I did so much work for this event. It was mostly focused on the Korean marketing strategies and how they sell their products and how they use K-pop, K-drama, K-movies, fashion industry, car industry. They use everything in their power to connect the rest of the world to their tradition and their history and the way they do it. It's fascinating. And because I'm a marketing specialist by profession, I mean, it's only logical that it was my favorite.
Finally, what are you working on right now? Like any events or projects that we should look forward to?
We can guarantee you July filled with events.
If you want to see them, you will have to follow Pagoda_MK or pagoda.mk.
Irma, Tanja and Stefan, thank you for joining us today and sharing your experiences. I hope you, our listeners, learned something new about Asian culture today. I don't know how about you, but I'm ready to book my flight to Japan now. Follow Pagoda on social media and join us on the next Voices to Hear podcast episode. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See you.
Voices to Hear.